Hello. A time of the month where I talk about the golf course. We called it the course report. So where are we? June. Club Championship weekend. Been a mad one. A lot of planning. All sort of coming to its pinnacle this week. Give a little shout out to all the boys first. Been brilliant this week. Worked them hard. They've all performed. So when you see one of them, say thank you, because without them boys, this wouldn't be possible. But yeah, they've earned their money this week. So golf course. So June the 20th today, I believe it is. It's been really hot last week, which has been nice. Better than rain, obviously, but it's still very dry. We had a storm. Was it last week we had that big storm? We ended up with 5.4 mil. Dover had 54 mil. It all missed us to the east. So we had the flashes, a few rumbles, didn't get a lot of rain. Obviously 54 mil was ridiculous. I know they was putting people up in temporary houses because it flooded. We don't want that, but a little bit more than 5.4 would have been nice. It's not loads, but I suppose we've got something. Other than that, not really had too much to talk about really, so it's been a really dry last sort of 4 months. Irrigation is working overtime, and the golf course is looking, sort of starting to look very dry, very parched now, which is nice actually, because linksy, yeah, it's the word I'd use, linksy. So the weather's sort of continuing now. It's been really since sort of March time, quite dry. Obviously the sun's come out this week and it's quite hot. I think Saturday, tomorrow, I think we're looking at 30 something. It's going to be warm, so wear your sunscreen. But yeah, so I'll take you through the greens, go through them, I'll take you through the tee banks. We'll touch on the 8th green, we'll touch on the rough, and then at the end we'll summarise it all up and just talk about some other stuff. So I hope you enjoy the report, and I'll see you at the end. Right then. So here we are, standing on the 5th green. This is where we try and get the greens at their peak for the Club Championship. Quite a few weeks of planning has gone into this, from top dressing programs, verti draining, verti cutting, the right feed at the right times, the right wetting agent at the right times, and I'm pleased to report that they're really, really good. Despite the very dry weather and the very warm weather the last few days, they're excellent. Really, really pleased with all the greens. Stimping at around 11, which is arguably a little bit too quick, but yeah, I'm very, very happy. I think these are probably going to be maybe the best greens we've had in the Club Championship since I've been here, at least. So yeah, very, very pleased. Hope you will enjoy them. So next week they will be getting a rest because they are under a bit of stress at the minute, because peaking at this tournament this weekend. So greens for this month, excellent. Probably the best I've ever been, if I'm honest. So I hope you enjoy them. So 8th green, big improvement on this green. Obviously you can still see the power, look, it's everywhere. But where the fescues and the bents have caught up with it, it's not actually that bad. When this is cut first thing in the morning, it actually rolls quite nice, and as the day goes on, the power grows faster than the rest of it, and it can become a little bit bobbly. But first thing in the morning, yeah, it actually rolls quite well. Scabby areas we try to fill in and start to fill in, and in general it actually looks a lot worse than it is, but yeah, we are making improvements. So recap on the back corner test patch. Now, I don't know if you know that I've spoke to some of you about this, but we tried something in this back corner here. As you can see, you can just see the square of the test patch. So what we've done is we sprayed a chemical, a 2 metre by 1 metre patch, to try and kill off the poa. Now this is 29 days old since we've done it. So when we first done it, it went very, very brown, and the poa's dying off, but we overseeded it at the same time, and you can actually see the lines of overseed coming through. Now if we come in a bit closer, some of the poa's gone brown and died off a little bit. Some of it's come back to life, but in general, I think it's worked. I do think it's worked. So we need to have discussions whether we do it on the whole thing. But performance-wise, the 8th is miles better than what it was, and it does look worse than it is. It really does. Like on this camera here, I can really see the poa sticking out, you know, in slightly lighter colour green, dots all over the green. But this is our native grass, and it's quite difficult to eradicate it. All the greens have got it, but this one, where it's new, sort of shows it more. But that's the 8th green update. We're still working hard to try and get this as good as we can. And we are winning. It is always easier this time of year to produce a green, obviously, because you've got growing conditions. But that's the 8th green update for June. Right, running you through the teas, tea banks, new styles we got here. Really sticking out now exactly what we want to sort of try and achieve. So these rough, rugged tea banks, standing on the red tea on 14 at the minute. Really look nice, very linksy. So you see all the way around the outside. It's rough. We are cutting paths out, and we are being mindful of where the traffic goes. So on this one in particular, we've got the hut behind the tea, and some of the ladies, especially when they play with the men, they sort of hide in the hut. So we've cut a path around the back, as you can see. It goes all the way up and joins up to the fairway. So we've got a path this side for that. And obviously, when people don't need to hide, they've got the path the other side. So it's all done for a reason. Saves us a lot of time, obviously, for not mowing tea banks as well. And it just gives it that links feel. As I said last month, we're trying to slot into a genre which is links, and I think this goes some way to achieving that. So the tea banks are looking good on most of them. We have cleared out behind the black tea on the 7th and behind the black tea on the 14th, and obviously in between the white and the black tea on 14 as well. Very weedy, very messy looking, so we cleared all that out. But you know, on the whole, really pleased with how our teas are looking. Received lots and lots of positive feedback from this as well, so I think this could be a stayer. Quick note before we finish this little video, we do cut this little collar around the tea just to tidy it up as well, which is all looking good. Really pleased with the teas. Right, so I'm going to touch on the rough for this month. As you can see, I'm standing just to the right of the 12th tee, and you can see up towards 11 up there. But last year we done a trial for this chemical on the 3rd and down the right of the 2nd. Basically what it does is it kills off the harsher grasses and leaves the fescues to flourish. And after the trial last year in that small area, I'm pleased to report, and I'll stick a picture on here, what 3 looks like now, and it's quite nice. So you've got all the tall fescues sticking up, real definition, but it's not overly thick at the bottom. because a lot of these sort of harsher grasses have been killed off. So as a result, this year we've done all of the long grasses. So if I sort of pan over to 11, you can really see sort of the orangey look it's got to it at the minute. And around here where I am on sort of 12, same sort of thing. Lovely. Go the other side of the path on 12, an area where I haven't sprayed, to sort of show you exactly what it's doing. It's a lot longer and quite dense at the bottom still, despite my little thing sticking out here. Look. Oh well. Despite, there we go. What was I saying now? What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's longer and it's quite thicker, despite it being quite dry out here. You've still got a lot of the crappy grasses in the bottom. So that's what we're doing in the rough. If you're wondering why it's all gone a bit orange and it ain't very long, it's sort of deliberately done. The dry weather helps. You know, we've been relying on nature for the last few years to help us out with long grasses. We've just had 2 really wet winters. So it's a couple of wet springs, so it's really thick at the bottom and everyone's moaning losing the balls and that. We are trying to get this right, and sort of, yeah, the little test patch we done last year, we're sort of taking it onto the whole golf course now. I have since sprayed this for weed as well, because a lot of clover, as you can see, look, kicking around in it. So I've sprayed it all weed as well, so it's hopefully it's going to be better playability. Not too much rough this year, but next year it'll be really good. So that's the plan with the rough. Me again, I'm back. So that was the course report for this month. I hope it all made sense. I hope it covered everything that you might have been thinking about. But just, to recap on what we're going through. June's all about club championship prep. Really pleased with how it's gone. I'm pleased with the condition of the course and how it's playing, especially the greens. I think they're, like I said earlier, I think they're really good this year. I said at the start, say it again, how well the lads have done the last 2 weeks, but especially this week. Obviously, we'll all be in about sort of 4:45, 4:45 tomorrow morning, same again Sunday. Just putting those final touches on the tournament. So hopefully it's a good event. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. And we sort of reap the rewards of what we've done. Not too much else to talk about really. So we covered the rough, what we're doing on the rough. We covered the 8th green. That's improved a lot. Still not where we want it to be, but it's getting better all the time. The tee banks, again, me personally, I think they're brilliant. I know a lot of members are saying the same thing. It's a bit rough and rugged, but I think it looks good. Things like the fairways, they're performing well. All that overseeding we done back in April, I think we've lost that this year, where it's been so dry. The birds have had most of that. Still struggling to get seed to pot. It's all down to water. We haven't got a massive irrigation tank where it's so dry. What we do have has to be sort of distributed in the right areas, which obviously is greens first, tees, so fairways and things like that. We need help from the sky. We've not really had it, so that's looking like that's sort of been a bit of a waste of time this year. But it's what it is when you're working with nature. It's not exact science. It changes every year. So on the back of that, we'll look to get the weed killer out there pretty soon, really, which, as we were delaying because of the seed. I'll get the weed killer out there soon, hit some of the clover lumps, and we got out daisies and that we got kicking about. And then, yeah, once we get Sunday out of the way, next few months, just sort of ticking over for a little bit for the next couple of months before we get ready for, anything we, projects-wise, we start maybe sort of September time. So a few little things to do. Sleepers around the 10th. Still got one side of that to do, and then we've got these trimming up practice nets to go up next to the red tee on 10. So lots coming up still, always busy. But yeah, June's all about club champs, the biggest club tournament we got. So that's the end of the course report, really. Anyone's got any questions, usual stuff, you know, just see me out on the course, just put a comment under this video, or send an email in, that type of thing. But until next month, if you're playing this weekend, hope it all goes well for you, and I'll see you soon.